to the Muslim Street. This is the Muslim Street, our Sunday evening broadcast coming to you live here in Florida. Our engineer, Lance Scurv. This show is produced by the Lance Scurv Show somewhere over in Africa and Ghana. I don't know where Lance is. But you can find us across all social media at www.themuslimstreet.com on the web, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Facebook and Instagram at The Muslim Street. Check our periodical out, our website out for some hard-hitting articles, up to date with some current events as it relates to Muslim thought and Muslim thought leaders on different issues. We got a heavy-hitting program tonight, and essentially we're going to dive in here in a few minutes and discuss Minister Louis Farrakhan, his legacy. We have with us guests tonight, and I'll bring them on in a minute with an introduction, who will actually have anecdotal references who were there during this period that we're going to cover. We're going to cover the legacy of Minister Louis Farrakhan moving forward in a few series, maybe 3 to 4 to 5 series. Tonight, we'll be discussing the 1980s, and which is a big period. If you really want to have me contextualize, and I'm going to do that here in a second. But we're probably only going to get to about 1980, 1985 to the mid 80s. Some very, very interesting stuff. So, hold on. You're going to hear some interesting stories and about the legacy of Minister Louis Farrakhan, and hope that we have contributors who worked with him in the rebuilding of the Nation of Islam, who were there laying the bricks, laying the foundation along with him, that can give you their perspectives and their very interesting points of view and insights. So before we dive into that, next week we have a brother whom out of Memphis by way of Atlanta, by way of Tampa, Florida, a man by the name of Tony Muhammad. Longtime Muslim, met him down in Florida back in the 1990s. He was doing some contract work with one of the military situations over in Kuwait some years ago. It was over there for quite a long time. He was literally set up on false charges and taken into custody, sentenced to over 15 years in prison, and was held as a political prisoner. And he was released in a negotiation by the Trump administration a few months ago. So Tony Muhammad will be on the show next week, telling his story firsthand. So I just wanted to stay tuned to that, and I'll make a repeat of that as we close out the show. But today, Dr. Viper White, who is the author of Blacklisted, and also a contributor to the Muslim Street, member of the Nation of Islam, along with Greg X. Sane, who also is a member of the Nation of Islam, going back to when Minister Farrakhan first got started. And we're waiting for one of our other guests, a very important figure from that era, CARVEL Muhammad, to having some technical issues, and hopefully we'll be able to get him on for his perspective. So Greg, welcome to the Brother Greg. Welcome to the Muslim Street. It's not your first time here. So before I jump in, and here's what we're going to do this, guys. I have a few clips from the early part of the 1980s, particularly Savior's Day 1981, which will be the first Savior's Day in Minister Farrakhan's rebuilding. And then we'll kind of like talk around that era. Feel free, Dr. White, to jump in with yourself and Brother Greg with your thoughts and your perspectives, because this is what the show is all about, contributing to the legacy of Minister Louis Farrakhan. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this, Brother Greg and Dr. White, was we joined the Nation of Islam as Minister Farrakhan began to rebuild the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X had only been gone through assassination some
12 years.
15 years. But hardly ever did we have some people who weren't on this side of the fence or on this side of the fence given any kind of personal analysis, anecdotally, or political analysis that was as balanced as what we're going to hear here tonight. So I'm looking forward to having a discussion. I'll set it up with this in a couple minutes before I bring you guys on. Is that the Black liberation struggle was in a point of flux during the mid late 1970s. It had been defeated by the counterintelligence program of the United States government. They stepped on the Black Liberation Army, headed by Dorobi Wahad, Assata Shakur, Sundiata Kohli, defeated them, either chased them off shore in the case of Assata Shakur, or jailed, imprisoned the leaders of the militant movement. Dorobi Wahad going to prison for 18 years on false charges. Sundiata Kohli, all political prisoners. Jalil Mukhtar King, we can go on and on. It had defeated the Black Panther Party by assassination and throwing their movement off course. We saw in 1969, in December, the FBI, under that same counterintelligence program, go in and destroy the Illinois chapter, one of the strongest chapters of the Black Panther Party front in the country, when they assassinated Chairman Fred Hampton. So here we come with all this being defeated in the Black liberation struggle to a crossroads, and it needed new blood. The movement needed new energy, and this is the vacuum in which Minister Louis Farrakhan emerged in his rebuilding of the Nation of Islam in the late 1970s. First thing he did, Dr. White and Brother Greg, was a call for unity. A call for unity across the Black movement, but in particularly across the militant wing of the Black movement. He began to organize organizations such as the National Black United Front under the leadership of Dr. Conrad Worrell, the cultural nationalist movement around the country with players like Dr. Karinga and Hakeem Adabudi and Hannibal Afrique, etc., G2 Wausi out of New York. He began to bring together revolutionary elements of the movement out of Republican New Africa, Chokwe Lumumba, Omari Obadeli, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, the scholarly wing, Olamenji, the scholarly wing of the movement, in order to revitalize the movement. And it kind of brings us to this point. Dr. White, I'd like to kind of jump in before we play a clip of Savior's Day 1981 of where were we as Black people, and this vacuum that I talked about, and the need for new energy inside of our struggle in the late 1970s and early 80s that caused the emergence of Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Well, first I want to say assalamu alaikum to the brothers, Brother Gregory. It's so beautiful to see you again. And I see Brother Carvel has just got on. It's only been about 35, 40 years. We can't make that another 40 years. We had to stay in touch. I think when we came in, the late 70s, early 80s, it was a special time for us. The Black community was in disarray. Of course, you had Jesse Jackson with Operation Breadbasket. We all know where he was. And we had some sideline Black political leaders throughout Chicago and New York and elsewhere. I also want to make mention that in Chicago and New York, in many respects, was the seedbed for Black nationalism and seedbed for organizations. When I say that, during our time, we were not just competing and trying to have unity with the groups that Brother Malik mentioned. But remember, we were in the streets of Chicago, so we were also trying to gain unity with the El Rookins, right? We were trying to gain unity with the Stones and the Vice Lords. You know, we was trying to gain unity with a lot of different groups to bring them into our fold. And of course, we had competition with the Warren Dean Muhammad group at that time. So when Minister Farrakhan came in, he came in as a new voice, as a wonderful, inspirational voice that we all heard. I was at Purdue Malik, you was at your school, and Brother Carvel, Brother Gregory, you were in your areas, but we all heard that same call. And from our different upbringings, we came together in a unified front to tackle the issues that was taking place. Now, also what was taking place at this time was that, remember, there was a new growth of a group, white group called the skinheads. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the skinheads was causing all types of hell, not only in the suburbs of Chicago, but throughout the country. And our people were, again, not organized. And when Minister Farrakhan blew that trumpet, like he used to say, we heard, we came, and we were worked. In fact, I put it like this, brothers. It was during that time probably one of the best times of my life, working in Chicago, working in that unification, working in a way that said that we were doing this if our life depended on it. We had to get it done.
Yes, that's great. I'm going to ask Brother Carvel to jump in after we play a clip. Set that up by saying that in 1975, as you may well know, the departure of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam very shortly entered into a breakdown under the inept, fragile leadership of Imam Warfdi Muhammad, who literally partnered with the United States government. He partnered with integrationist forces and political philosophies that took the feet from under the organization, the dismantling of the Fruit of Islam and the MGT, the disciplinary core of the organization. The entire framework literally fell apart, guys, brothers and sisters in the audience. And I'm being honest here because I don't care how you feel. Right. It literally fell apart within 2 or 3 years. We were in Chicago and we saw it fall apart. OK, the Muslims within a period of 2 or 3 years could not even be found on the streets of Chicago, let alone anywhere else in the country. Right. Minister Louis Farrakhan left to rebuild the Nation of Islam, 1977-ish. And by 1981, the Nation of Islam celebrated its first Savior's Day. I want to go, Lance, to SOP 1, which will be a little clip from a short clip from Savior's Day, 1981. Then I want to bring Brother Carvel in to remark to that. Please, Lance, SOP 1, please.
The place is Chicago, February 1981, and what you are seeing is only a part of a 2-day event. The event, Savior's Day, the Nation of Islam's first celebration of its kind in over 6 years. But to most of those present, it wasn't just Savior's Day. It was a rebirth of the Nation of Islam. There were workshops on topics from communication to religion. There were also sessions covering self-defense and physical fitness. These seminars and workshops discussed almost every subject vital to the survival of Black people everywhere.
One that many of you know, Sister Tanetta Muhammad. Let's bring her on. Come on, please.
It is the day of the Muslims' defensive battles, in which truth is being hurled at falsehood until it knocks out its brains.
With more than 4,000 people in attendance, not only was this great event a learning experience, it was the first bold step in rebuilding a nation, a new nation of Islam.
All right, thank you, Brother Lance. Great producing work there. Brother Carvel, I want to bring you in just to, as you relive that period, because you were there. You were in the house, right? tell us what you felt, what was going on, what was the mood of the city, what was the mood of the country to see the Nation of Islam and Minister Louis Farrakhan bring back a context, a construct that we needed as a people.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Yes, sir. Oh, you know, that was exciting times.
Can we hear?
Can't hear you.
Okay. We seem to get you on mute there, brother Carvel, with some technical. Carvel.
Yes, it's on his side.
Okay. Carvel, as we figure out Carvel's, as we figure out Dr. White, Carvel's issues there on the technical side, Brother Greg, I'm gonna ask you to kind of jump in for him, and I'll see if we can get him a message to kind of correct that.
Yeah, let me just quickly say, let me thank the Muslim street. Let me thank Allah, brother. Let me thank all of the revolutionists. Let me thank the freedom fighters. Let me thank, see, I can't come on here and not think about all of those folks that are responsible. That brother said it right, Dr. White. There were plenty of people that was urging us, that was supporting us. Before I even talk about the honorable brother, Minister Farrakhan, and Brother Malik, you set it up really well. But I gotta say this, man, look, this is a crucial show. I pray and hope that a bunch of folks get to see this and we do a part 2. But I gotta tell you that what I experienced right in 82, and I was around a little bit in 81, just hearing it, because I was looking at the posters, you know, I could see the posters around the city, everywhere. I was working for Independence Bank, man. And I'm telling you, I would not be the person I am. You wouldn't be, Dr. White, no matter how much we've grown and learned Islam, etc. We were soldiers, brother. And I know we're going to build on that, because that fire, that commitment, that militancy, but that spirituality, that foundation, as you said, bro, a miracle took place. It was almost deeper than the Million Man March, to be very honest. Wouldn't be no damn Million Man March without that work at the final call. That was the catalyst.
That's right.
That wouldn't be. I'm sorry to say this, and I love the brothers over at Mosque Mariam, and we went over, but the foundation, not even before the final call, and you know, at Sister Christine house, and you know, on 47th, 63rd, you know, all of the places. But
yeah,
that soldiering, man, Malik, me and you went out soldiering. I mean, we're gonna talk about Brother Khaled and all of that. You dig in some of this, but man, I would not be who I am. I'm 67 now. I was 22 years old, man. And so we followed, you know, how to eat to live. And we prescribed to loving our people. And Malik, that whole piece, that when you talk about Dr. Conrad World and Dr. Bob Starks, and you know, you talk about Howard Saffold, and you talk about Old Lemenu, who I just spoke with a couple of days ago. We built relationships, man, in the community, just like the minister did. And I'm sorry, but unfortunately, those relationships, they were built, but I don't, that steam, that fire, that desire, man, that love, that brotherhood, that camaraderie, oh man, nothing can replace it, man. So I was there, brother, in the winter, putting up posters, selling final calls, and going to study groups. And me and you We downtown on Rush Street, clean as a whistle, as they used to say, clean as a whistle. Dr. White, I'm down there. He was Robert 7S then. And we down on Rush Street, people crossing the street.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, look at him now. Look at me. Look at you. Man, look, boy, don't you know when we were just 22 and 23, man, we were shining like new money. Shoes shine. Malik got on Brook Brothers shoes, and I forgot the name of that store, but he have on these tailor-made suits. And I swear to God, and I gotta say this, every white person, the black folks that was down, they looked at us and said, damn, what the hell, what manner of men are these? Right. That's what they said. I ain't lying. They even crossed the street when they saw us come.
Interesting. This is all product of the year. Dr. White mentioned something that was critical earlier. We're going to ask Brother Carvel. As soon as you get your sound back, Brother Carvel, please just jump in and interrupt us so we know that everything is okay on your end. Dr. White mentioned something, Brother Greg, in the opening of his presentation about this era. And this, as we discussed, the legacy on the Muslim street of Minister Louis Farrakhan and his contribution and to the bigger cause, right? He said he started calling out the universities that we went to, right? Now, this is very critical. Now, it's critical because 15 or 20 years prior, during the time of Malcolm X and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the core of the followers or membership in the Nation of Islam, or citizens, I like to call, they didn't come from colleges and universities. It just wasn't a fact. They were working class people, right? Working class meaning, maybe they came out of prison, maybe they came out of the street, etc. Right? There's no knock on it, because the miracle there was how the transformation took place with those souls. Minister Louis Farrakhan, as we even look at this panel, Dr. White doing his bachelor's degree work at Purdue University, you completing your bachelor's degree work at Drake, me completing my bachelor's degree work at Northeastern Illinois University after giving up my football scholarship at Eureka. Brother Carvel, finishing up his had completed his degree work at Millikan University, a private institution in Illinois, also a footballer, right? So Brother Farrakhan, with his level of intellect and his respect for academia, was able to go across the country and speak on college campuses and really build this new Nation of Islam with the core of academic brothers and sisters who were college educated. Can you speak to that, Dr. White, that phenomenon?
Absolutely. I mean, the minister had a wonderful way of being able to crisscross the divide in reference to college, universities, and professors and other academics. And he did so because he was able to align the message of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, align his perspective to the liberation struggle of our community and how it was connected to Islam. The way he is able to do this, it made perfect sense to us. So we saw ourselves in the FOI as the frontline soldiers for this new militancy that to bring forth true Islam to our community that was framed within a Black militant paradigm. And that was very, very important. And that was able to galvanize the students, because at my campus at Purdue, at other campuses throughout the country, remember, we used to go to Chicago State as well, right? And do a lot of things. And at every campus where we laid a foundation, where the Minister Farrakhan was, there developed a study group. And ultimately, those young men and women will come to us. So we were the frontline soldiers, as Brother Gregory put it. Without us, there wouldn't be no final call. There wouldn't have been no Million Man March. In fact about it, I put it straight, Minister Farrakhan wouldn't be where he is today, because we are the ones who laid the foundation.
Great.
All right. And he was able
and bro, I just wanted to say this real quick, with what you just said. That is so critical, Brother Malik, because when I think about, yeah, I went to Drake University, but I didn't meet him at Drake. I didn't hear the word at Drake. I'm this boy from the Robert Taylor homes. I was working for a bank. So I didn't hear
that. A lot of people don't know what that is, brother.
You did? I didn't hear him at no university. But Malik, I'm telling you, what I experienced was that I saw this strength in these men. They were shining. They were shining, brother. Not just the poster shining. I saw real men, with the final call, greeting us, showing love, and unapologetically, you did black, and they were strong and fearless. I was like, damn. I like that. So the minister was producing giants then, brother. Didn't nobody come up to me. I didn't know if they was in college or if they had came from jail.
No, Brother Carvel, can we do a sound check? Do we have you back?
Yes, sir. I think you did.
Okay, great. So we're gonna go to ask Lance to go to SOP 2, and then we're gonna bring Carvel in to remark to the second piece. Lance, can you bring in SOP 2 for us?
Perhaps the greatest legacy to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left his people was others to carry on his work. This is because the messenger was a visionary with insight and ability to develop others who could lead and teach effectively. One of his best students was this man, Minister Louis Farrakhan. Listen to what the messenger himself had to say about him.
This is one of the strongest national that I have in the bounds of North America. Everywhere you hear him, listen to him. Everywhere you see him, look at him. Everywhere he advised you to go, go. Everywhere he advised you to stay from, stay from. So we are thankful to Allah for this great helper of mine, Minister Farrakhan. And I say continue to hear our Minister Farrakhan. I thank you.
Is this Black History? Why did they give you a month? Isn't it true that they gave you a month to study up on your history? And every day of the year you're reading theirs? How can you be justified in studying your history for 1 month when time doesn't even show when you began on the planet? How can you be justified in reading white folks' history, which is a moment in time, and leaving your own history unread? And what you study for this week is not really your history. You're just studying the accomplishments of a slave who made it under the oppression of his master while he still wears the name of his master. So he's not yet making any history. This is his accomplishments in the history of white people. You agree? Yes, sir. All right. So in the history of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad among us, there was a rise
Okay, so Brother Carvel, as we go back to 1981 essays that we mentioned that you were in the house. One thing I want to mention anecdotally for myself personally, when I joined the Nation of Islam, and I looked around the room. I said, okay, I got this group of brothers over here, and then I got these group of brothers over here, and then these group of brothers over there, right? Carvel, Brother Carvel, he was with the smartest groups of brothers, right? I said, I want to be with them. so, Brother Carvel, you heard that clip of Series 81. Can you chime in for us?
I think he's back out.
We lose Carvel again. There he is.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, we don't have his voice.
Exactly.
We don't have Carvel. Brother Carvel's voice is a very important piece. We'll come back to him.
But everybody point to your ear so he could see. Just everybody point to your ear so he could, he could realize.
Yeah. So Carvel, keep speaking and then just interrupt us. Brother Viper, can you take up for Carvel until we're able to get him back in on this clip?
Well, I mean, listening to Minister Farrakhan on that clip is like listening to him today, like he just gave it. I remember being in the auditorium. I was on I was on a balcony, and I was transfixed at not just his words, but at the environment. As Brother Gregory stated, the young brothers, they were looking sharp, they were looking tough, and they were looking serious. And it was different than any church meeting. It was different than any Juma meeting. It was something that was special, that was electric. And I think the minister that night spoke about 3.5, 4 hours or so. And nobody moved. It was right there because we knew that we were part of something bigger than us. We probably could not describe it completely at that time, but we knew that we were on the edge of something that was fascinating, something that was divine, something that was electric, something that was Black powerful. And so when I left that arena, I stated right then, I mean, even before, as soon as I walked out, I started calling myself Brother Vibrant LX. No one had to tell me I'm Vibrant LX. And then, I was determined that when I finished from Purdue, I'm going straight to Chicago. And that's when I started. That's when I met you. That's when I met most of the brothers. And I remember in Beverly, the minister stayed in Beverly, right on 95th.
Yeah.
Then they had a restaurant down the street on 95th. I cannot remember, a little pizza place.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where we all met. And then I joined the brotherhood at the final call. And you're right, Brother Gregory. There were some tough brothers off the street, brothers who could kill a brick. But with that unity, we were all connected, no matter where we came from. I don't know if Brother Carvel is on now. Can you hear?
No, we can't. You can hear us, Carvel, but we cannot hear you. So is your mute button or something going on?
Lance, can we unmute Carvel or?
I like to listen to Brother Carvel. I think he was wasn't Brother Carvel the secretary?
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah, we were both. I was secretaries with him under Brother Wahid.
Brother Wahid taught me how to count money.
Man, let me tell you something. The staff, man, that's a whole nother conversation. Oh my God, Brother Akbag, what a faithful servant.
Yes,
a diamond brother. But Brother Malik, let me ask you, Malik, it's one of those kind of things where it's very frustrating sometimes. I mean, it's like I went to a Robert Taylor reunion yesterday, and I had fun, with those brothers out there, and nothing like that camaraderie back in the day. It's like old school. And believe me, that's all I hear. In the community, I would say that we had the community on lock.
Yes.
Dr. White said it, Verb said it. We had the community on lock. It wasn't a gang in Chicago, brother.
They didn't know us.
That disrespected us. And even, I gotta say this, y'all, before we leave, and I know Malik gonna go off on this. All these YouTube boxers, keyboard boxers,
yes,
they wouldn't dare be talking that foolishness. That none of them disrespected us like that.
None.
I listen to so many fools today, man, idiots that don't have a bit of work, man. But I say that to say with no threats, but though we was respected by the Black liberation community.
Listen.
And these clowns today, I don't have to call their names, but bro, they just run their damn mouth. But they would have never said some of that foolishness when we were out here. So
I mean, we were so bad. We would go into the fort. Remember the fort? One of the final calls. We walked right up in there. We were walking to crack houses.
Yeah,
nobody bothered us.
As we bring Brother Carvel in, Brother Carvel just start yelling and let us know that you in because your perspective is important. We are going to be doing a series of this and the contributions of Minister Louis Farrakhan. We're starting here on the Muslim Street in the 1980s. And again, you can find us at www.themuslimstreet.com. These anecdotal stories about what Brother Greg just brought up is very important. All this yapping around Brother Farrakhan's name and the Nation of Islam that they do all on these social media sites. Let me tell you something. When we were there in the 1980s, crickets. And the reason why, I'll give you a couple, right? I give you a couple. There was my mom, her last child got married, my sister, my baby sister. And the photographer that she hired, this regular brother, had a photography company. About a month after the wedding, I happened to be at my mom's house. And she was like, I was like, what's wrong, Mom? You know, she's like, the photographer won't return my phone calls. He took my money, you know, for the pictures for your sister's wedding. And I said, you ain't got no pictures? It's been a month? He said, no. I said, give me his address. Give me his address. I took 3 brothers with me, bow tie, white shirts. We all suited up, you know. I knocked on his door. I had the brothers flanked out in front of his front yard like a baseball diamond. I knocked on his door. He answered the door. I said, how you doing? I said, my mom said you don't have the pictures. He looks around. He sees the fruit of Islam. Next day, he had the pictures. Okay. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, what about when the Jews, so-called, I don't know who they were, they say they was going to be marching on Carvel.
Tell that story. They need to hear 1984.
I mean, they threatened that they was coming.
Memorial Day 1984. Tell that story.
They said that they was coming to show up. What year was that?
Memorial Day 1984, the Jewish Defense League, founded by Maya Kahana.
Right.
Yeah, Kahana.
Yes.
Yeah, but let me just say this. They were scared as you could. They heard us drilling in the West Hall, baby. I think you could hear it all the way on Halsted. You did, and we were sitting in McDonald's waiting. We waited. We told them where we were gonna be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they never showed up, brother.
Yeah. And here's the setup to that. Brother Viper, I think you were already at Ohio State at this time doing your PhD work. Mm-hmm. But the Jewish Defense League, headed by Maya Kahana, who later got assassinated.
Right.
He also had a seat on the Israeli Knesset. That's the equivalent to the Congress over in Israel, so-called Israel. And he put a threat out in the form of a letter to Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan called a meeting of the Fruit of Islam, and he read that letter. Very disrespectful. They called him by his slave name, the name that the white man gave him. They said, we want to meet with you without your bodyguard detail, yada, 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 right? And they said that we're coming over there to that final call, and we're going to march on the final call, and we ain't bringing no picket signs, right? So I'm not going to say what the minister said in that meeting because that was private. But let me just tell you that it was a pitch as high as a crescendo that the next morning when we were there waiting for them, we got there at 6 o'clock in the morning. We were going through our drilling. Brother Greg said you could hear it all the way, 5 blocks away. The community was out on top of rooftops, everything. We were waiting for them, and they didn't show up. Bro, they lucky they didn't show up. But this is the environment that we were in. It was a call to war. It was wartime, and we had a wartime leader, and his name was Minister Louis Farrakhan. So when we see all this chatter going on across social media, like this Malcolm X stuff, the minister he was involved in the session. Let me just say something. Savior's Day 1982, and we're gonna go to SOP 3, Lance. After I finish this point, Savior's Day 1982, there was a workshop on Malcolm X and his assassination. In that workshop, it was Akbar Muhammad, the Minister Farrakhan's top administrator, moderating it. You had Preston Wilcox, J2 Wausi from the both out of New York, out of Malcolm's movement and the National Black United Front, Chokwe Lumumba from the Republic of New Africa, all on that panel. And they were going at it, right? Mm-hmm. The Minister Farrakhan invited all of the different positions on Malcolm's assassination into a room on his turf, right? Savior's Day 82, down at the Conrad Hilton Hotel, to debate the issue of Malcolm X. He never ran from that, right? So these people, now they're trying to do some social media fame for likes and subscriptions on their YouTube channel. They have no idea what they're talking about. They really don't. And when I listen to them, and Brother Greg, you invited me into some of these spaces, and you tell them what happened when I came in that space. Okay?
Oh, you destroyed them.
Right,
you
exactly.
destroyed them because you had facts, you had paperwork, you had documentation, you had receipts, and at the end of the day, I witnessed it, and they stood down because there's nothing like when you have to fight. I mean, this show, Dr. White, but when Brother Malik is dealing with somebody that's given erroneous information and he can tell that they poison, he destroyed them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring in, before we go on, I'm gonna bring in Lance for SOP 3, and then hopefully we have Carvel respond to this. Brother Carvel, his SOP 3.
Obviously, the power that has produced our second rise is greater than the power of the world that produced our fall. Come on, Now look, if the government don't want us here and work to destroy us, the Islamic world doesn't want us here and work to destroy us. The communists work to destroy us. Jews and Christians work to destroy us. I am not talking about black Christians and black Jews. I have to make a distinction. That's right. But look, if they work to destroy us, and here we are, then what does that tell you about the power that brought us back into existence? Since the world bears witness that we did die, come on now, you bear witness that the nation died. Yes. And you bear witness you in the workshop yesterday. Those of you who know the brothers and sisters yesterday, you bear witness that we are now alive again. And you also bear witness that no group which the United States government ever destroyed came back to recapture their former glory. Not one. As great as Marcus Garvey was, he never recaptured his former glory. As great as Noble Drew Ali was, he never recaptured his former glory. But this is our first Savior's Day in 7 years in the city where they destroyed the nation. This is the first.
All right, Brother Carvel, please tell me we have you. We don't have him. Okay. Brother Carvel, don't worry. We're going to do a series of these. We're going to have you back, and we're going to do a sound check, a mic check early. So, Brother Viper, can you jump in on the rise? We talked about initially, the destruction of the nation, and then this piece that Minister Farrakhan just described there. Can you remark?
Yes. I mean, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad left, it left a void within the Black community, and that void was that there was no one speaking out on the interests in the manner that we expected them to. So when the Minister Farrakhan came back up, of course, he filled that void, and we know that the destruction of the Nation of Islam was well planned. I mean, it goes back into J. Edgar Hoover's plans in the early 1960s. It said that he had to stop the rise of a Black Messiah. All right, had to stop the rise of a Martin, had to stop the rise of a Stokely Carmichael, had to stop the rise of Malcolm and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And connected to that was to stop the rise of a Minister Farrakhan. Because when he spoke in 1975, 76, 77, Jesse couldn't handle him. There was no Al Sharpton. There was nothing there. So therefore, that whole element of trying to come back and them trying to destroy us, sadly, that continued. I mean, from 1977, 1978, right up into the present day, that whole movement from the government to try to dismantle the Nation of Islam, trying to silence the voice of Minister Farrakhan, and trying to disrupt us who were in the ranks and soldiers, that has been consistent. And I don't know about how the brothers feel, but in some ways, and I'm sad to say, in some ways they have achieved. They have been successful. In some ways.
Well, it's interesting that you said too, Doc, that you were there for 4 hours listening to a man make sense. 4 hours.
Yeah.
We listened to the minister 2 hours, Brother Malik, 3 hours, making sense. None of those other folks that you mentioned could keep our attention for 30 minutes or 30 seconds because it was not connected to a road. I mean, Malik said we had gone to college and some people, were basically aware. We felt we were not just laying around. When me and Malik had this conversation before, I was okay. I felt like I was okay. But when I heard the word, I knew I could be better. And so I didn't think about no FBI. I didn't think about no COINTEL. I didn't think about any of that. I felt so protected and I felt so connected. And yeah, they never left the nation, but we were flourishing so strong that they couldn't show their ugly head. That's right. So we were so involved. Don't think they wasn't there. They never left.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a great point, Brother Greg. I think
one of the things I want to say, what Gregory stated earlier about the YouTubers, these cats, they don't have sweat and blood equity in this movement.
No.
We had blood and sweat equity. You talked about going out 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, 10 degrees below zero. Putting up posters. That was us. Staying up late at night, 11 and 12 o'clock, working the streets, getting our people, and back up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
This is going on all over the country.
Absolutely. They don't have that sweat and blood equity. And our lives was on the line because remember, many of us lost our families, lost friends, lost jobs, lost homes because of our position.
Yeah, one thing I want to anecdotally, Greg, to describe, summer of 1985, Dr. Khalid Muhammad is the Supreme Captain of the Nation of Islam. He calls down the Saturday morning Fruit of Islam class and takes us down the entire Fruit of Islam, a couple of hundred brothers, because there is a gang war going on in the Robert Taylor homes that literally has stifled any activity from kids going out and play to people going to school and work and everything else. They cannot even move. And we're talking about a quad that got 50,000 Black people, right? There's literally a war going on for over a month. Brother Greg, take it from there. What happened and how we started?
just what we've been saying, Doc. When we went over there, brother, everything stopped. The bullets, they pull up the guns, and they brought out the love. They brought out the smile. They ran. The ones who didn't want to be confronted, they stayed in the house. The ones who was looking for hope, hey, salam alaikum. They were happy to see us. Brother, they embraced us. A lot of them knew me, knew Brother Lawrence. You know, they knew Brother Antonio because we grew up there. But Brother Khaled witnessed that, and we was like, we love you. And they said, we love you back. We was telling the people, we love you. We was in the project telling the people, what no conversation like, brother, y'all know you're wrong. Now, you know, it was none of that. It was strictly, we love you. And with no speech. See, that's how wise God had blessed us to be. You know, we weren't going in there saying, let me holler at you. Let me talk to you. No, Dr. White, we was just, we love you. And they was like, we love you back. One man, you don't know a man on the damn planet have went in the project and said, we love you.
And let me set this up. This is not just some project with, like the times of Cabrini Green. We're talking about the Robert Taylor homes, okay? 50,000 Black people in age with a police department of the Chicago police who has a headquarters and an office on the main floor, can't even stop the war, right?
Exactly.
These Fruit of Islam went over there because with us was not only the presence of the discipline, but also the sweat equity of the Fruit of Islam that came, 15, 20, 30 years ago.
But Malik, God is love. God, the presence of Allah, I'm telling you, man, was there. You do not get to go in the jets, and just because you wearing suits and you got a few brothers with you with suits on, if you ain't got the presence of Allah, you finished. And they felt that. I know that to be a fact, but the sweat equity, you 100% correct. And some relationships were built, but more than anything, man, that's disturbed as our people have been and neglected and abandoned and abused and abused. They knew that we came to save them, to help them. And they had nothing but the utmost respect for us. That's why when Malik came over, formerly Jeff Ford came over to the final call and others, brother, they got in line. I mean, stuff happened afterwards. You never could believe all of the crap you hear that the FBI put out there, but they had nothing but respect for the brotherhood.
All right. Now, on that point, I'm going to ask Lance to bring in Stop 4, and hopefully we'll have Carvel respond to that. Let's go. Stop 4.
It's just killing us. We need to be saved from our own self-hatred. We need to be saved from our lust to destroy one another. We need to be saved from this brutal, self-defeating, inferior psychology that white folks have put on us that makes it difficult for us to do anything of value without opposing and destroying one another. We need a savior. And I ask you, do Black people qualify for one? I appeal to God. Have we met the requirements? If I meet the requirements to go to school and you deny me, why? If I meet the requirements to buy a home in a decent neighborhood, why? If I meet the requirements to call down from heaven its blessings and mercy and a messenger and a warner and a savior, and you, God, reject me, I ask you, why? Are you racist too?
All right, so the reason I chose that is hopefully we got Brother Carvel, just jump in when you can. But Dr. White, as we look at the Muslim Ummah here in the United States now, since the 1966 Immigration Act, the early to mid 1980s, and we see a flux of Arabs, particularly coming in from Egypt, Lebanon, the Palestinians who've been dispersed, flooding into Black communities and several other communities in the United States. By the late 1990s up until 2000, they have voted, immigrant Muslims voted in the 2000 election as Bush v. Gore. They have voted upwards to 80% Republican. Then 9/11 happened. They become the focal point moving forward. When you say Muslim in this country, we see a transition. But in our communities, Dr. White, there's some interesting dynamics going on where the militancy amongst Black Muslims and our struggle has been kind of put on the back burner for this other thing, right? And we can describe that on another platform. But I want you to kind of talk into the cultural dynamic of now, all of these different groups, all four madhabs are here, right? Including, in addition to the Nation of Islam.
Well, first of all, we have to understand. Yeah, first of all, we have to understand that the immigrant Muslims, no matter if they're Arab or Persian or from Eastern Europe, for the most part, they don't have our interest. All right, they came here not to build an Islamic movement, not to build a revolutionary movement. They came here to become part of the white American pie. That's how they describe themselves. And they only align with us when it's feasible. Now, we have a challenge from them because they have hijacked the history and our Islam. They have hijacked it. So therefore, when people see it's Muslims now, at 1980s, they thought of us, bow ties, sisters in garbs, in the community, bean pies, final calls, Muhammad speaks. Now that is not there. So therefore, we have to recapture our Islam. We have to recapture our stroke within the Black community, because again, they're not interested in our cause. Even though, check this out, even though we were talking about issues like the Palestinian problem, way back in the 1980s and 1990s, they did not align with us, all right? We were talking about how our brothers, all of us have been handcuffed by the police because we were selling final calls or something, all right? They did not connect to us. They said that we were practicing bad Islam. They're only around us when it's politically feasible. So the militancy is not there, all right? It is only element for political activism when they see it. They're not our friends.
Into the phone.
Even though
okay, we have one brother Carvel to chime in as we close out the program. We got a few minutes left. We'll be doing a part 2, 3, 4. I like to pick up at the end of the month on the 27th with the same group, and we'll start around 1983, 1984. We're probably gonna have to do again about 5, 6 of these sessions again around the legacy of Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we were speaking to his contribution. So, Brother Carvel, we got you on a hijacked voice. I'd like to just kind of hear your thoughts. We'll work on that technical difficulty on the next show.
Yes, sir. Well, assalamu alaikum again. I wish that I could have made some comments to all of the brothers about what was going on. All I can say is that when I heard the minister, that was it. And as Brother Gregory was talking about, it was some rough brothers back then. But then we got to look at it when the message was rough back then too. So all we're doing is just rebuilding, and this is the final rebuild here. But I've never heard a man like the minister. I stood up the first time that I heard him, and because I knew that he was he. And I remember when I first came in, I cried almost every night because I realized that this was that man that was here to save us. So, it was beautiful. It was the most beautiful time And we talk about that a lot to a lot of the brothers, early 80s, the final call days. And we can get into that the next time.
All right. So we're going to ask Brother Lance kind of close us out. And again, brothers, I want to thank you for your contribution, again, to the legacy of Minister Louis Farrakhan. If you brothers, like myself, who were with him when he was going through a very critical point in not only the history of the Nation of Islam, but the history of Black people and our struggle in this country, you have perspectives. You have perspectives that, as I asked Lance to bring in the closing music, you have perspectives that need to be heard. You have perspectives that have to be cataloged. Again, I don't think that during Malcolm's session that really happened. Now I think we have an opportunity to do that here on the platform of Muslim Street. See you next week. Tony Muhammad's coming up, locked in jail on false charges over in Kuwait for a long period of time, sentenced to 15 years. He's going to tell you how he got out and what were the political circumstances around him being captured in the first place. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.